the amount of times I've walked into CVS and your heart breaks for the little girl behind the cashier having to deal with these guys just walking in and out, like, because you do see it and it's scary. That's looting on smaller proportions, but you for sure see it in California.
I think it's major. I think things fall apart when you see stuff like that. But why doesn't someone shoot them? I always think that. I only see it on video. I haven't been to a CVS in a while. Yeah. But I think it's just it's like you're begging for total collapse if you allow that.
Exactly. And I'm a first principle thinker. I think it's trust. I just don't think people trust that things will get done. And now if you take it out, I love California. I don't think it's as bad as people make it sound. Yeah. But if you can't trust the politicians, society crumbles. And I see with the trading, if you can't trust the majority of politicians, America will crumble. Because why would I believe what the politician is telling me while I'm watching them do these other things right in front of my face and I can't do anything about it?
Yes.
So we want them banned to get the trust back into that.
Of course.
But the problem with the ban is it constant, like, if in that ban, you would have to ban the kids and you would have to ban the spouses from trading. Is it constitutionally allowed to say, hey, say you're a senator from Florida and you're like, hey, Tucker, you want to be a senator? That's fine. But per the Stock Act now, your kids can't trade stocks and your spouse can't trade stocks. What if your kid is a hedge fund manager or your kid is,
I get it.
Like, how do you ban that kid? It's hard.
It's hard. I mean, well, like any system is voluntary, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, if everyone tries to subvert a system of any kind, the system will collapse. So people have to decide, like, I want to be a better person and not take everything I can. Don't be greedy. Don't be selfish. I mean, it's the things you tell your kids.
Yeah.
Like you show up at somebody's house, you're 8 years old on Halloween, and there's a huge basket.
Yeah, you're not taking every.
Kisses.
Don't
take everyone.
Yeah, when you're Halloween trick or treating, you're not taking every big Reese's bar.
Yes, they don't have Halloween in Africa because people just take every Reese's bar.
Yeah.
But here we always have because there's a lot of self-restraint in the population. So what do you do about that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know either. But I think a solution though can be this is where, like, get rid of the delay, make them file the same day so that you increase transparency around that.
How long is the delay now?
45 days. And I did a lot of research. I couldn't figure out why there was a delay to begin with. Like, I don't understand why do you need a 45-day delay? I don't know. That's per the Stock Act. But also, once you get rid of the delay, just make it so that either the politicians have to invest in a blind trust or major ETFs, or if you're not going to go that far, just don't allow them to trade companies they oversee. And it's very, very simple. If I'm a consultant covering pharmaceutical industry at Deloitte does not allow that consultant to buy pharmaceutical stocks. They can buy other stocks, but they can't buy pharmaceutical. And like, it's all just a step in the right direction towards something that, like, we can get on the right path to trusting the politicians again. That's my
I think
goal.
the fact you're watching makes a big difference.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to, right?
I think it has. Yeah, that's what I tell myself.
Thought about, calling DOJ or copying DOJ on some of these social media posts and saying, maybe there should be a criminal referral here.
Yeah, and we haven't. Maybe that's the next step. The SEC has never investigated any of them. And I think the SEC just has a ton of stuff on their hands, to be honest.
Well, that's for sure.
We'll see what happens.
Because there's a lot of corruption in the country now. It's not just the Congress.
And the hard part about this is the SEC there's billion-dollar schemes. Like, they should have found SBF, kind of thing.
Yeah.
The politicians is not the major thing on the monetary side.
I agree.
But it is, though, on the public image side. And that's what I think, like, I don't think people understand the long-term effects of not trusting institutions.
I totally agree. And there should be a secular priesthood in charge.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why they call them public servants.
Yeah.
They're giving up something to serve their country. I don't think that's unfair to ask people to do that.
I feel like they've forgotten about it. They forgot the whole
I've noticed.
root,
If you've been paying attention, you know that ALP is not just another nicotine pouch. It is literally the best nicotine pouch in the world. And we know because we use it all day long. We've used all of them. Turns out you can actually make money by telling people about ALP. We're launching our affiliate program. If you have an audience, big or small, you can cash in. You earn 10% commission on every sale of ALP that you bring in. And to make it even easier, we'll give you a 10% off link for your followers. They save, you earn. It's really simple. By the way, compared to all the other products people sell online, ALP is truly good. It's delicious. It is easy to sell because it's heartfelt. So spread the word, get rewarded for it. Best nicotine pouch in the world. How are defense stocks doing?
They're up. They're up. They had they weren't up earlier this year, I believe, but I think they are. I think the one that I followed in particular was Raytheon, and I think Raytheon's up around 80%. So my thought is Lockheed and General Dynamics are up too. But there's smaller ones. I mean, Tommy Tuberville bought this company called Humacyte, and what Humacyte does is it treats soldiers injured in war in Ukraine. And he bought that stock. We flagged it because he sits on the Armed Services Committee. And if you go on the Armed Services website, it literally says helping companies do military research. He buys a company that does military research. The stock was up, I think like at the peak of it, 100%. He sold out early, so I think he made 30%. But it's not even just, like my point is, it's not necessarily even just Lockheed, Raytheon.
Right.
It's these companies that get military government contracts to help the long tails.
That's all of
these
Northern
wars.
Virginia.
Yeah.
Right there.
I know. Yeah. I was listening to a couple of your other podcasts.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've spent my life there, so I'm deeply resentful. And it's also very ugly, which tells you a lot. What they do for a living is ugly. Killing people is the ugliest thing you could do, but they've also constructed an incredibly ugly world physically. Like if you drive from Dulles Airport into the city, you see not a single pretty building. Yeah. Everything is awful, and it's a reflection of their souls, in my opinion. Others disagree. Tell us, and I went right over this, I'm sorry, but about Jim Cramer. You have an inverse Jim Cramer. So if you were to invest with Jim Cramer, would you do better or worse than, say, Debbie Wasserman Schultz or Nancy Pelosi?
In 2024, you would have done better. And this is all up. If people want to go on joinautopilot.com or even on our app, Autopilot, you'll see all these numbers because I don't want to mess up the numbers. And
yeah, of course. Yeah.
But Cramer was up 48%. Stock market was up around 25%.
He was up, not inverse.
Sorry. Inverse Cramer was up 48%.
Oh, inverse Cramer. Okay, yeah. So when you're talking about Cramer, you're talking about Cramer's stupidity. Do the opposite.
The opposite of Cramer was up 48%. And we balance that thing on a monthly basis. He has his own stock group, which maybe we'll pay to get the subscription in to actually see the stocks that he's talking about. He has this through CNBC. But yeah, he was up.
Inverse Cramer has done
48. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Do
you think it's a gag? Like,
I think it's social media. Not even social media. I think it's just how media works. It's headlines, and you have to talk about.
But he's like a Harvard graduate who's like a genius. Everybody says. I mean, I know him. He's obviously not a genius, but he's employed to tell you about the stock market. But betting against him gets you 48%. Like, how does that?
And he has a private stock market group that does all this stuff.